Hi, in this short video, I want to show you how to create a dashboard chart, or a chart you can put on a dashboard, that will give you these limits and then the data over time so that you can see whether you're approaching the limits, and you can look for trends and patterns and outliers. And so when your data approaches or exceeds some of these limits, you decide what to do. If it reaches this limit here, you say, oh, it's time to reorder. And this is just a picture, so I'm going to create this picture from a pivot chart. And what I want to do is set up what I'll call min wheat. Oops, got the caps lock on? No. Min wheat level, and I'll have a maximum wheat level. Not used to this keyboard. Max wheat level. And these are going to mean something. And so I'll put these levels here, and I'm just going to make this up based on the data that I've already looked at. I'll say 100,000 and 275,000. So those numbers seem kind of high, but what the heck? This is just an example. Now this picture is going to be based off of some data that it's been provided via this ODBC. This data is the ERP Sims Z-Muesli raw material stock data, and I've already set up the connections so that we don't have to spend the time doing that. And this is what the data looks like for this company code. These are the rounds or the quarters and the days. And for some reason, they show both storage locations. I think the raw material is stored only in 88, and the finished product is stored in 2. And I don't know why they don't have boxes and bags in here, but they don't in this data. But that's okay. I'm just interested in wheat in this case. And the same process you would use for raisin or strawberry or blueberry. But I just want to show you one for wheat. To do this, I'm going to create, so this has been formatted as a table. All this data is a table. So if I create something called min wheat, a column called min wheat, it's going to be added to that table. And max wheat, it's added to that table. Now what I want to do then is have this point to my minimum wheat level, which I've put on a dashboard or I've put somewhere else, and so it's equal to that. Now when I do enter, it's going to fill down automatically, but since I didn't put in, it's kind of hard to see, I didn't set that as an absolute reference, then it filled down relatively. Then I want to do the same thing here for max wheat. So there's the max wheat level. And once again, I need to change this to an absolute reference. So I don't have my formula bar on, but I'm hitting F4, and that's an absolute reference now. So I've created this table, and it has these two new columns, and these are my boundaries for wheat. And I could add others like oats and strawberries and things like that. I'm just going to stick with wheat for now. And now I can insert a pivot table, and it's selected all those, and I'll say OK in a new sheet. And here's my min and max wheat levels and my stock levels and the product description. So what I want is over time, so it was round and day, and of course it thinks those are numbers, so it adds them up. So there's round and day, and I'm interested in the stock level over those times, the sum of the stock levels. And I'm also interested in the min and the max wheat levels. And it's added them together because I think it's because I got both storage locations in there. Well, what I want to do anyway is I don't want, I want the average. Maybe I'll call this min wheat. There's a space in there so it doesn't complain. And that's an average. And this I'll set to max wheat and an average. And now I have everything I need for creating that chart. So I'll insert a line chart. Maybe it can look like that. And I've got all the products in there. So for some reason, even if do this and say, no, just give me wheat. It doesn't change. So I wish I knew why that is, but if I insert a slicer and say product description, and say just wheat, now voila, there's the chart that I'm looking for. And with this, you could add a title. So here's the raw. I spelled that right. Raw wheat. Something like that. And you can format these lines so that they're dashes and make them look the way you want them to look. Now if I'll copy this and paste it here. I'll get rid of this picture. And if I change this to 150,000, oops, it's not quite 150,000. Then I need to refresh. And there we see the type of chart that I'm interested in. And this chart will update over time as this data here is updated over time. In other words, if I was to go down to the bottom, and I'll delete some of these rows here. And if I came back here and refresh this, so you could use my refresh button that I have, so you don't have to do it that way. And then if I was to come back to the all the data and refresh it, then the data is refreshed, and then I have to refresh this data here, and there it's refreshed. So the refreshing can be kind of clunky, but you can automate that. This is the basic idea that I've been talking about for what happens when you get close to these limits or exceed these limits or see patterns within these limits. I hope that helps.